Chess.com recently banned Hans Niemann from playing on their site. Now they're due to release a statement in the coming days which goes into this cheating and covers the extent of it on their platform. So we're all eagerly awaiting that statement, and I'm having a look at this game here because this could well be the last game that Hans Niemann ever played on Chess.com. But what a game to finish on if it was. He had the white pieces here and it was over in just 21 moves. So he kicks off here with pawn d4. We had f5 in response, the Dutch defence, and now he goes for knight c3, an offbeat system, and after knight f6, bishop to f4. So very much like a Jabava London system here. We had d6 from black, opens up the bishop, very often prepares e5 if the timing is right. Now pawn to e3, and now g6 was played, so black prepares to fianchetto the bishop. This way of developing is known as the Leningrad Dutch. And now h4 from white, really aggressive. You haven't yet developed this knight, and so with the queen still supporting here, this is a really nice idea of the whole system, especially when black's gone g6, you can target that pawn and the king already. And say black develops with bishop to g7, looks so natural, well this already gives a really nice advantage for white. Because you can't take that pawn, this is a very thematic exchange sack. You're driving the king out. If it comes here, well, you're losing a second pawn, the attack rages on. And if it comes to f8, well, now you can simply castle the king, and for the sake of an exchange, you get this huge attack. Bishop coming to c4, knight developing, then the other rook could be coming, e4 at the right moment, really, really dangerous. White's a lot better. So bishop g7 wasn't played. h6 was played instead. Now you're prepared to meet h5 with g5, good game for black. So queen f3 was played here, and now the bishop developed in this position and the queen nudges over to g3. So no time to go knight to h5, then you drop this pawn here and your knight. So instead king f7 was played, covers this pawn, and now bishop c4 check, e6 blocked, and white castles queenside. So it's a very harmonious setup, already a big attack for white here. So knight h5 now played. Not ideal to move the same piece twice in the opening, but black's desperate to try and get off one of these attacking pieces. You can recapture with the pawn here, by the way, with a decent game. Open the e-file, get pressure here. Different ways to play. Hans takes with the queen, however, and now black goes d5. Looks really nice to blunt out that bishop, then try and attack on the queen side, which is what a6 sets up. But this is the big problem now. Knight to f3 came first, rook f8, preparing to castle the king by hand, and now this beautiful break in the centre, using the pin against the king, pawn to e4. So this liberates the whole white position and breaks down that rock solid black pawn chain. Now you can't take with this pawn, of course, so this one recaptured, and Hans doesn't even take the pawn back with the knight here. Instead he plays knight e5 check, best move. Now we see the king running away to g8 here. If you capture that knight, the problem is you recapture with the pawn, open the rook against the queen. After it moves away, well then you chop on h6, and once again this is just an absolutely devastating attack down the h-file. So taking no good, the king steps back, but now white picks up this pawn here, rook to f6, attack the knight, it was attacked by the knight, it drops back into e5, and black desperately develops, trying to get pieces off the board, trying to stabilise, attack here at the right moment, but it's too little, too late. Many good moves here, but Hans finds a very direct one, pawn to d5, crashing through the centre. Now this one wasn't captured, we saw the knight captured on e5, but if you capture the pawn, the problem is rook recaptures. I mean, lots of good moves there, but this is the best, because you attack the queen, and after it moves somewhere, well then you attack it again, but using this discovered check. And this is a theme that recurs in the position now. So no good to capture the pawn. The knight took on e5, and now again Hans doesn't bother to recapture that piece. He takes on e6, opens up the rook on the queen, and black is just completely toast. Now this knight is about to fall in a moment if the queen moves, So black thinks, okay, I'll chuck knight d3 check, it's going to be taken anyway, I'll do this one, but actually the rook just recaptures and you still can't take with the pawn, or you're walking into e7, discovered check, winning the queen. So after the rook recaptured, this is why the queen slid across, but then this was the final move of the game, finished it on the spot. Can you pause and find it? So the move that Hans played here was rook d8, skewering the queen to the king, so taking would be forced, well, or you could play a different move, it's all completely lost, but e7 check then comes, same tactic, same motif, completely over, losing the queen. Crushing final victory from Hans. So as soon as this chess.com statement comes, I'll be sure to bring you that news. Do hit that subscribe button to never miss a future video, and if you want to see the ground zero game where this all started between Magnus and Hans, then click the video on screen. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.